This is Durag Wisdom. Greetings. 35 days after the coup. And one of my favorite news commentators, Keith Olbermann, who now appears on YouTube on the GQ site, Gentleman's Quarterly, he called it a coup. What a great news commentator that Keith Olbermann is. He says it like it is, along with many of my other favorite liberal, progressive news commentators. Now, when I was calling it a coup, and I still call it a coup, it was because of voter suppression by the GOP, the Citizens United that's contaminating our finances in our elections. We have gerrymandering. It keeps the Republican Party in power. So I call it a coup for that reason, but then I didn't know at the time that the Russians had hacked into our elections with the intent, and it's coming out now like crazy, with the intent of giving the election to this dictator, Trump. Now we know that Russia, and of course Russia was involved in this, totally, and the James Bondian villain Putin, of course, dictator in his own right. So, according to Olbermann, and as far as I'm concerned, this is as true as anything, the Russians are responsible partly also for this coup that's going to happen if the Electoral College, which is supposed to meet next Monday, decides to live up to their pledge to support the monster and vote for him. Now, we already have 10 members of the Electoral College, Democrats all, who want to investigate the Russian hacking. And of course, the Republican part, they're mixed. And when this came out during the elections, the idea that the Russians hacked into our election, this came out before the election, I think in October. And the Democrats, and this is I got from the news, the Democrats met, the Republicans met, and the Republicans didn't want to have an investigation. And Mitch McConnell, one of the racist architects of trying to make Obama a one-term president, he said this is nothing and kept it hidden. This whole idea kept it hidden. Meanwhile, the monster has nominated his wife, Mitch McConnell's wife, to be transportation secretary among his pirates that he's going to put in there. All right, so Obama is finally demanding an investigation. But this, according to Olbermann, everything about this hacking has to come out now, before the scumbag is inaugurated. Now, we know already that this creep is already nominated, imagine this, the head of ExxonMobil. Never had any experience with politics, in terms of, world politics, in terms of running a State Department or running any kind of government offices. Because, the Republicans don't care if they have competent people in their cabinet, because the Republican Party wants to destroy the federal government. Look, they're keeping Obama from appointing a new Supreme Court justice. They don't want a Supreme Court. They don't want any. They want a totalitarian system. So, for the Secretary of State, ExxonMobil, someone this guy has no experience outside of ExxonMobil. Why do I want a polluting oil company piece of shit to be my Secretary of State? Because he's friends with Putin. Do you understand what's happening here? So, the coup will happen if this creep is inaugurated, because I agree with Olbermann. This may be our last free election. Because this creep, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this creep does not respect our Constitution. So let me tell you another bit of news that I got last night from Rachel Maddow. And I'm also dedicating this to those people who have buyer's remorse. People who voted for this creep because they really thought he was going to help them. Well, Newsweek is supposed to release something today about Turkey and Trump. Trump and Turkey, the Turkey Trump. Trump has a Twin Towers in Istanbul, Turkey. And you know that Trump isn't getting rid of his businesses, right? He hasn't revealed his tax returns. He hasn't revealed anything. He hasn't gotten rid of anything. I mean, he's such a lying piece of shit. But the fact of the matter is, and he has this business in Turkey with this family, very rich Turkish family. And, you know, when the president of Turkey called this scum to congratulate him on being the president, the dictator to come, the moron brought up the fact that he wants to say hello to that CEO that who's held with the Trump Towers, Twin Towers in Istanbul. Please say hello to him. He's a great person. Blah blah blah. His family, whatever it is. So it turns out because that creep, the stupid creep, opened his mouth like that, Turkey is going to try to leverage him to extradite some kind of Muslim cleric that lives here in the United States. And I'll tell you why they're going to do this. One of the family members of this rich developer that he has business with in Turkey, one of their family members got arrested. So now the Turkish government is threatening Trump. Well, let us have this cleric, and we'll let loose on this other person who probably would interfere with your business if we arrested him. So here we have a president of the United States, or a president-elect, of the United States, with so many conflicts of interest that I often wonder what the hell is going on with this country, my goddess. Have we forgotten Watergate? Have we forgotten the Teapot Dome? Don't you understand that rich bastards want nothing but to take everything away from us? To undermine and destroy everything our government stands for? Oh, whoa! You know, in the 1950s, if Trump was running for president and he had ties with Russia, they wouldn't let him get away with it. Wow! A commie lover! Yeah, well, totalitarian communism is over, so now in Russia we got totalitarian capitalism. Crony capitalism, which now we're bringing to our country. So, when we're talking about a coup, this is not a conspiracy. When a fine Edward R. Murrow journalist like Keith Olbermann can call what happened a coup like I do. I'm just an asshole on the street. I'm not a professional newscaster. I mean, I feel I have some credentials, but I wasn't paid to be a professional newscaster. But thankfully I read. Thankfully I read 1984 50, 60 times because I recognize that's a handbook for recognizing the kind of crap that Donald Trump is and his GOP is. Now, I value my democratic republic. I value the liberties that I have here, but it's being slowly and surely eroded because we're asleep at the switch, ladies and gentlemen. You got to write to your congressperson. You got to get involved, watch the political news. It's torturing me to watch. It's like watching snuff films. I don't need to watch the Game of Thrones anymore. Because, I mean, not only that, and House of Cards. Yeah, I don't need to watch that either. It's happening in reality in front of my face. Horror of horrors. Oh. Now, I'm going to stand up and fight this bastard every step of the way because I'm a proud American. And we have a unique constitution, a unique government. I don't want any bastards getting rid of it. And I also want to help and guide those sincere people who voted for that creep because they thought they were going to help them. Out of frustration because the shit in Washington on both sides of the aisle are corrupted by corporate influence. Now, wait till the Newsweek article comes out. You're going to see this guy's got so many conflicts of interest. It boggles the mind. It simply boggles the mind. So I'm here to help, to make sure, to give as much information that I can from what I glean from the media, to help, to aid every person who watches me to wake up and understand that our country, our democracy is under attack. There's a cold civil war going on between the rich against the rest of us. I'm sure that the sincere people that voted for this creep did not sign on for the end of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the end of unions, the destruction of our environment. The State Department, the head of Exxon Mobil, who Putin loves. Wake up, folks. There's more of this discussion to come. But understand that what we're putting in there, what we put in there, and the people who voted for that creep, he stands for every single thing that he said he was against during his campaign. He has stocked his cabinet with rich, stinking creeps, with Goldman Sachs, with Exxon Mobil, with people that hate labor, people that hate health insurance, creeps of all shapes and sizes, and the most dangerous creep of all, this Flynn, who could whisper in that birther bastard's ear and say, let's have a nuclear war. This election must be invalidated. If the Electoral College wants to put in a Republican, which I hate in itself, that's fine. Let them put in a stinking Republican, but don't put in Trump. For the sake of our country, for the sake of our democratic republic, for the sake of everything our country stands for. Or else get ready for anguish. P.S. Did you really vote for someone who has so many conflicts of interest that he could be blackmailed by every country on the planet he does business with to the detriment of our country, like what's going on with Turkey now? Did you really sign on for that, folks? I don't think so.